Hi, everyone. I hope this day finds you warm, well, and well blessed. We are back again to continue our series, Be Well Read. It's a pleasure to come to you every few weeks to share with you books that I have enjoyed reading and books that have made a difference in my life, both personally and professionally. And it's a privilege to do this in conjunction with Story and Song Bookstore Bistro in Fernandina Beach on Amelia Island. And I thank Mark and Donna and also Connor, especially, who keeps us connected for this privilege and their partnership. It means a great deal. It was really fun to share with you last time, earlier this month, the books of the Blue Zones. If you were not able to tune in, I hope that you will listen in to those, take some time to go back. We had a good time. You can go to either the Story and Song Facebook page and scroll down a little bit and find them, or to Be Well Serve Well Facebook page. You'll also want to scroll down, especially on the Be Well Serve Well page, to a little postscript that I added a few days after our time together last time, and also look for a delicious recipe from the Blue Zones Solutions book. I tried that recipe. I promise you it's delicious, and I don't want you to miss out on that. So we are now in the midst of the holiday season, albeit a little different this time around, perhaps. I've had several people share with me their gratitude for the simpler season, a micro holiday, one of my friends called it, claiming that the frenetic energy, the hustle and the bustle is just a little bit less so this time around. I'm actually glad. I believe that's part of our healing. I believe we're being given a chance to heal in new ways and to truly celebrate the Festival of Lights that is Hanukkah on this last evening of that celebration, and then to savor the season that is Advent for those of the Christian faith as they anticipate the gift of Christmas. And even in a micro way, Kwanzaa and New Year's are fast approaching. And so I wonder, what gifts will they bring? It is a season of gifts, and I've loved presents since I was a child. Perhaps you have too. It's only recently, though, that I came to understand that we are not always present when we give and receive presents. I've also come to understand that presence, our mindful presence, can be a great gift to ourselves and to those we love, as well as a great gift to our health, to our wellness and our wholeness, our health individually and corporately. We've learned a lot about collective health this year. We give and receive many gifts during this season, many presents. However, I'm not convinced that we give and receive one of the best gifts, priceless presents. A gift that costs nothing and offers us everything: renewed health, increased joy, deeper peace. The gift of presence, our presence, the gift of being present in the moment, to the moment. Being present in this way is a practice, and today I want to encourage you in that practice by encouraging you to read the books and the writings of Thich Nhat Hanh. Add those to your lives and to your bookshelves. I want to encourage you to give the gift of presence this season, to nurture this gift in yourself, and then to share these books and nurture it in others. The books I will share with you today are not only perfect last-minute gifts, they are perfect guides. They're little how-to books, offering what the author calls mindfulness essentials. So let's think first about the word essential. This year, many of us have begun to reevaluate what in our lives is essential and what is not essential at all. Now, by definition, what is essential is absolutely necessary. Also, by definition, it's extremely important. Now, page by page in the Mindfulness Essentials series, the author Thich Nhat Hanh offers us little lessons on what he believes is absolutely necessary in our wellness and our wholeness: mindful presence. These are little lessons with big power to transform how we live our lives and how we think about our wellness and our wholeness. They have power to change how we think about these things, how we think about our home, our work, our health, our relationships, and the simple things that we do every day. How we eat, how we sit, how we walk, and more. Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese-born Zen master ordained at the age of 16 as a Buddhist monk who became a poet, a global spiritual leader, and a peace activist. He's traveled the world teaching global ethics, peace, and yes, mindfulness. In the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, quote, "Our own life has to be our message," end quote. I agree wholeheartedly. Interestingly, it's actually the message of my own Christian faith. And his life is a meaningful message of peaceful steps that he and I hope you and others will follow. Now, I confess that there was a time when I felt threatened by the teachings of any faith other than my own, especially Eastern practices for some reason. And yet, as I opened myself to the perennial wisdom of other faiths, I found what my very favorite author, Barbara Brown Taylor, calls holy envy. And in that envy, I found the best of gifts, a mindful deepening of my own faith that allows me to be fully present in that faith as I practice it, while also respecting the faith of others, including my Buddhist friends. We have so much to learn from one another. It's one of the reasons I enjoy this time together. And today we have so much to learn from Thich Nhat Hanh and his Mindfulness Essentials series. The series includes little how-to books. How to walk. How to relax. We think we know how to do these things. How to sit. How to eat. How to love. These are tiny books, but they have a ton of potential to help us heal as they teach us how to. These books teach us how to eat when we eat, how to walk when we walk, how to sit when we sit. You know, it sounds simple enough, and it is, and yet it's not. By comparison, these are very different lessons than we learn in our culture, a culture that elevates multitasking and invites us into the chaos culture rather than to a place of peace and presence. So today, in this moment, I just invite you to take a deep breath right now, to be present with me as I share a few teachings from these how-to guides, teachings which have impacted my own life and teachings which I hope will impact your life as well. Each book is organized in two sections. There's a section of notes and a section of meditations or contemplations, he sometimes calls them. Most of the notes are less than a page each, so very simple to read and digest. And the meditations and contemplations offer then a guide for the practice of the notes that he's offered. It's a really helpful format. Notes on walking begin like this. When you walk, arrive with every step. That is walking meditation. There's nothing else to it. Of course, in our society, walking in this way quickly gets complicated. For one thing, we might get run over. Or we might turn a few heads, create a bit of peace, and give a little joy to others. The author shares this story. When I go to the airport, I like to arrive early so that I can do walking meditation before the flight. About 30 years ago, I was walking in the Honolulu airport. Someone came up to me and asked, "Who are you and what is your spiritual tradition?" I said, "Why do you ask?" And he said, "Because I see the way you walk is so different from the way others walk. It's so peaceful and relaxed." He had approached me simply because of the way I walked. I hadn't given a speech or a conference. With every step you make, you can create peace within yourself and give joy to other people. It's completely opposite the patterns of the world, this walking meditation. I began 2019 talking about our culture's addiction to speed, not the white powdery stuff, the pedal to the metal variety. You know, fast food, fast internet, fast cars, quick weight loss. You could add to the list, I'm sure. I believe the speed at which we live our lives is completely unsustainable. I believe we need to relearn how to walk. As the author suggests, quote, we know our final destination is the cemetery. Why are we in such a hurry to get there? Why not step in the direction of life, which is the present moment, end quote. I believe we can learn to walk when we walk. I had a neighbor once who really needed an extra pair of hands for her walking. I know that sounds strange, but you see, she walked with the dog leash in one hand, the coffee cup in another, and of course her phone in another. That's 3 hands, but you get the idea. I invite you to walk when you walk. Not necessarily without the dog. We love our pets, but without the coffee cup, and definitely without the phone. If it will ease your path, just tell somebody where you're going and how long you anticipate being gone. Then walk when you walk. Thich Nhat Hanh puts it this way. We're in such a rush, looking for happiness in one place and then another, we walk like sleepwalkers, without any enjoyment of what we are actually doing. We are walking, but in our minds, we are already doing something else, planning, organizing, worrying. There's no more need to run. Every time we return our attention to our breath and our steps, it's as if we wake up. One of the author's notes on walking reminded me of a personal experience I had that literally stopped me in my tracks and found me walking very gingerly for days. Like many of you, I suspect, especially there on the island, I love to walk on the beach. And on this particular summer day, I'd been walking the beach for hours. It was a hot, hot day, and unfortunately, unwisely I confess, I'd left my water bottle on my bike, which I always ride to the beach. When I got back to my bike, I bent over to put on my shoes, and I was stuck. I literally couldn't bend back up. My muscles were dehydrated, and they seized up. A friend had to rescue me and my bike. A lot of water later, I was better, but my muscles still needed time to heal. Over the next few days, I had no choice but to walk slowly, gingerly, mindfully. I assure you, I was fully present to each step. It was a gift, though, really. And I thought of this passage from How to Walk. It's titled A Contract with the Staircase. Make an agreement with the flight of stairs you use most often. Decide to always practice walking meditation on those stairs, going up and going down. Don't climb those stairs absent-mindedly. If you commit to this and then realize you've climbed several steps in forgetfulness, go back, climb up again. Over 20 years ago, I signed such an agreement, he writes, with my stairs, and it has brought me great joy. Many of us tend to live our lives in the past, looking back with regret or looking forward with anxiety and worry about what lies ahead. When a client tends toward worry or regret, I advise them asking 2 questions. Where am I? What time it is? What time is it? There's only 2 correct answers to these questions. Where am I? Here. What time is it? Now. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh calls life's address, as he teaches us to walk mindfully and to enjoy walking. He writes this, the technique to practice is to walk and just be exactly where you are, even if you are moving. Your true destination is here and now, because only in this moment and in this place is life possible. The address of all great beings is here and now. I like that. I also like how the author defines mindfulness. Mindfulness, he writes, is the continuous practice of deeply touching every moment of daily life. Can we begin to do this? I believe we can, especially if we choose to learn how to walk. Now, how to relax is another of the mindfulness essentials. And while I'll leave you to discover most of this gem of a book for yourselves, I will share one brief passage. You don't need to set aside special time for resting and relaxing. You don't need a special pillow or any fancy equipment. You don't need a whole hour. In fact, now is a very good time to relax. You're probably breathing in and out right this moment. If you close your eyes for a moment, do so. This will help you pay attention to your breath. Your body is doing so many things right now. Your heart is beating, your lungs are inhaling and exhaling. Blood is traveling through your veins. Without effort, your body is both working and relaxing. Then there's how to sit. In recent years, we've all heard that sitting is the new smoking, doing as much damage to our health as years of smoking has done to some. It's true, and it is also true, we need to learn how to sit. Here and now, we learn to stop and then to sit. According to Thich Nhat Hanh, the stopping is as important as the sitting. The stopping invites the sitting. Another familiar phrase in our culture is, don't just sit there, do something. Thich Nhat Hanh obviously turns this on its head in a note titled, Don't Just Do Something, Sit There. A few words from this passage I think you'll enjoy. When people say don't just sit there, do something, they're urging you to act. But if the quality of your being is poor, if you don't have enough peace, understanding, and equanimity, if you still have a lot of anger and worries, then your actions will also be poor. There are people who don't seem to do very much, but their presence is crucial for the well-being of the world. You may know people like this who are steady, not always busy doing things, not making a lot of money or being engaged in a lot of projects, but who are very important to you. The quality of their presence makes them truly available. Being available not only to others but to ourselves, this is the gift of presence. I believe it is the beginning of our wellness and our wholeness. To be available is a practice. It's to practice presence. I pray and practice to be available to myself and to you and to others. Otherwise, my actions and efforts will be poor and they will be empty. If we truly seek to be well and serve well, to be whole of mind, body, emotions, and spirit, we will want to practice the how-to steps that Thich Nhat Hanh offers and to learn to walk when we walk, to stop and to sit, to find our life's address, the here and the now, and not just to reside there, but to abide there, to relax there, to be conscious in all we do, including how we eat. You knew I'd get to that, right? We've all heard the phrase, you are what you eat. Now I would add, we are how we eat. Oftentimes, if we work on how we eat, what we eat comes in closer alignment with who we hope to be. How to Eat is a book that I recommend you buy and read one note at a time, day by day, as you begin to practice how to eat. Keep it close by, maybe on your kitchen table or kitchen island, wherever you choose to eat, as long as your choice of dining room isn't the family room in front of the big screen TV, as is often the case in our culture. Right off the bat, the author advises turning off the TV. He writes this, sometimes people eat while watching TV, but even if you turn off the TV in your mind continues to run. So you have to also stop the TV in your head. Good guidance. In another note, continuing this line of guidance, Thich Nhat Hanh also addresses turning off the radio. In order to eat with joy, I like that, we have to turn off radio NST. You get that channel? I certainly do. Radio non-stop thinking. Even if our bodies are sitting still while we eat, usually our minds are racing. In order to truly be present for our meal, we have to stop the constant inner dialogue. To eat without thinking is to eat in freedom. Even science has proven that mindfulness matters when we eat. It is vital to our health and our well-being that we eat when we eat. I want to share a couple of studies with you to show you what I mean. First, there was a group of students at a university in Italy. They were invited to a short film. Before the film, they were fed a snack, and then using an EGG, electrogastric graphic, their digestive processes were tested, showing perfectly normal digestive activity. Now, what do you think happened when they were fed another snack while they watched the film? All the EGG rates dropped. Lower enzymatic output, lower gut activity, inefficient digestion. And many people you and I know wonder why they suffer from digestive issues. It's pretty clear to me we would do well to learn how to eat when we eat. Some of you may recall me sharing, as we talked about the Blue Zones books, I mentioned Dr. Brian Wansink. Dr. Wansink is a researcher and professor at Cornell University's Center for Nutrition Studies, where I received my training in whole food, plant-based nutrition. Dr. Wansink runs the Food and Brand Lab at Cornell, and in the Blue Zone solution, he's quoted in a section about how our environment impacts our behavior related to eating. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh is teaching too. So here's another study that supports the value of our health, of eating when we eat. The Food and Brand Lab at Cornell is set up like a restaurant. In one study, a group of people were invited into the lab and offered a place at the table and served bowls of soup, which they began to eat. Now, Dr. Wansink walked around the room as people were eating, and he would periodically stop and ask, "Are you full yet?" The group, to a person, would look at their bowls, which weren't empty yet, answer no, and continue to eat. Disconnect, as if their bowls could talk. What they didn't know was that the table was rigged and the bowls were being continually refilled. They could have eaten soup all day and all night. They didn't notice a thing, as they ate far more soup than that little bowl would have ever held. They were out to lunch. Both literally and figuratively. Why does it matter? Stick with me. In the same study, of course, simultaneously, there was a control group that ate from regular bowls at regular tables, no rigging there. When the experiment was completed, members of each group claimed that they thought they'd eaten about a half a cup of soup, when in fact the group with the rigged tables had eaten 73% more. And ironically, both groups reported in a survey that they took that they felt about the same sense of fullness at the end of the study. Mindfulness matters. Eating when we eat can begin to have a positive healing impact on our health, our weight, our wellness, and our wholeness. In How to Eat, we read this: we don't need to eat a lot of food to feel nourished. When we are fully there and alive for every morsel of food, we eat in a way that each bite fills us with peace and happiness. If we are full of this joy, we may find that we naturally feel satisfied with less food. Then two more brief passages from How to Eat. When we eat mindfully, we consume exactly what we need in order to keep our bodies, our minds, and the earth healthy. When we practice like this, we reduce suffering for ourselves and for others. We begin to heal ourselves and can help heal the world. As a spiritual family and as the human family, we can all help make our lives more sustainable by following this practice. And then he says this: Our way of eating and producing food can be very violent to other species, to our own bodies, and to the earth. Or our way of growing, distributing, and eating food can be a part of creating a larger healing. We get to choose. Eating when we eat is a choice, and we can choose to be present when we eat, knowing, as Thich Nhat Hanh so aptly writes, that we are caretakers of our bodies. There are more wonderful passages in this book than I have time to share, and I truly do want you to purchase this book and others in this series. I think you will find them as meaningful as I have. If you give yourself the gift of this book, you're going to discover some passages on a silent meal, a meal at Google, drinking a cloud. That's curious. There are even passages on, yes, cleanup from our eating, washing dishes. A personal favorite of mine is on chewing. Yes, chewing. Goes like this, quote, "Don't chew your worries, your fear, or your anger. If you chew your planning and your anxiety, it's difficult to feel grateful for each piece of food. Just chew your food." Good guidance. In one passage, the author tells of talking with a group of children and asking them this question: "What do you think the purpose of eating breakfast is?" Now, you might be surprised by the answer. I was, and I'm not going to tell you. You know, I'm just like that sometimes. You'll just have to read the book. But I will tell you this. I learned yet again how to eat. As a practitioner who works every day to help people heal in their relationships to food and body, I truly believe how we eat matters. I believe this in part because how we feed and fuel our bodies nourishes us so that we can truly learn how to love. In How to Love, Thich Nhat Hanh writes this: "Love is a beautiful word, and we have to restore its meaning. When we say, 'I love hamburgers,' we spoil the word. We have to make the effort to heal words by using them properly and carefully." Ultimately, it is love that brings us into the present moment. Love for ourselves, love for others. Love not only invites our healing, allowing us to help others heal, love invites our transformation. I want to share one more passage from this book, How to Love. It's called "Watering the Flower in a Friend." "One day I was giving a talk," he writes, "at our practice center in France. Two of the people in attendance were a couple from Bordeaux who visit our center on occasion. The woman was sitting in the front of the audience, and she was crying from the beginning of the talk to the end. After the talk, I went to her husband and told him, 'Dear friend, your flower needs some water.' He understood right away. After lunch, they drove home through the countryside, and he spent the hour and a half letting her know all the things he appreciated about her. When they arrived home, their children were surprised to see their mother and father so joyful. Transformation can happen very quickly." Our time together often happens very quickly too. It is here and gone in an instant. But I'm glad you've tuned in, and I hope that you have been present. I hope I have been present with you as you have been present with me during this time together. It is a choice. It is a practice. As always, I hope you'll consider these books for your own libraries, especially in this season of gifts. Consider them as a gift for a friend or someone that you care about. Story and Song has many of this series on their bookshelves. They have them on their online bookshop. I also hope that you'll visit Be Well, Serve Well, whether it's the website or our Facebook page, and join in the healing transformation that our nonprofit seeks to offer to our shared community. It is good work, and we would love to have you with us in that good work. Friends, let your life be your message, a message of loving presence. Be present. Give yourself and others the best present, your priceless presence. I'll be present with you again in January as we continue to seek to be well read. We do this together. Until then, I wish you the gifts of priceless presence. Be well, serve well, and I will do the same.